Yeah, I remember that. The Renault factory. Renault factory was a really good factory. What happened was is I think I found this guy. He had something or other, or he had something, and I hired him. And it goes over a very long period of time. And one of the Renault cars, I basically it's the Renault team actually. And first ever car safety thing actually is I think I might have owned the only other car manufacturer. Like I own the paint company, and then there's the Renault paint factory, which made their own paint as well, which was of course my factory too. I think it might be Auschwitz or something, or one of my teams that went out basically, and they started the Renault car company, and they did well and did really well, and then we started making our own paint. We had our own paint factory, I think, and there's Auschwitz and then the Renault factory and stuff and all that kind of stuff. But basically, the Renault car factory and mine and all that other stuff, because I always had my own mine that went with it. But then I also had, and I don't know what citrus was or whatever. I think it was like there's like the scam artist or something. They sued me or something like that because I threw their car down a ravine. I pushed. I mean, I had one of ours pushed down the ravine to show because I wanted our top to be so it wouldn't crush completely. So I had them reinforce one of the tops so it was a cab on a car because a lot of the cars would roll over and the people will always be dead. So I had them reinforce the top so it could support the weight of the car, and then I had them push it over an edge and had them film it basically. So it rolled down, and went, not exactly a normal kind of cliff, like a 90-foot cliff or something like that, saying normal that the car would go down basically, and then so it's like the first ever crash test video basically. I did a lot of crash testing back in those days, but basically I had them film it, and then showing that, and I also had it so as the car was upside down, so they could say like, look, this car is going to protect you. It's going to be safer. It's going to be better, and then of course the Renault factory. Anyway, though, I think I sold a lot of cars because people were like, I don't really know. I mean, I think people mostly just used it for camping or whatever. I'm not exactly sure how it did really. I think it did really well because we became a very big factory and we were turning out cars like crazy. And we built a Renault paint factory just across the way or something. I was building that as well. So, yeah, and exploding really, really fast. Like we were mining like crazy. Of course, I had steam trains too. So it's kind of like I have steam trains. I have the Renault car factory, and Renault was this guy, and he wanted to build these cars or whatever. He thought he could build these cars, and I said okay. And so as people went in on it, and I loaned them the metal, like 60,000 whatever metal, tons of metal, 60,000, yeah, 60,000 pounds of metal or something like that, or anyway, a fair amount of metal basically, more metal than he could ever afford. But basically, I loaned him the metal, and he built the cars. And I think he had to slash the prices, or we slashed the prices, so he only had like $30,000, 30,000 metal, or $3,000, 3,000 whatever to pay me back. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Invest it. We'll invest it. So I think that might have been when we built the paint factory, because he had $34,000 they made from the car sales, and then so we invested all of it back into a paint factory and built the paint factory so we could make our own paint and all that other stuff. So it's kind of like DuPont or whatever like that. It was a Renault paint factory, and they started being able to manufacture and get paint. I forget we figured out how to get the oil and how to make the paint and all that other stuff, and how to get the color in there, and that was Renault paint factory, which is right across the street or down the street from the Renault car factory. Anyway, and then of course there was the Renault mineral mine. So we were mining the metal, we were fabricating it, and we also had a foundry too, I think. Basically, it was my the Renault fortune. Really Lucifer White Star fortune, because that's basically what it is. Anyway, he was just building cars for me, and he couldn't pay me back. He was like, we're ruined or whatever, and or he didn't have any money, and he only had like half the money, or $15,000 or something like that. I was like, I am basically investing in this, and we're gonna get this. It's basically just the metal, pretty much. So I'm just out the labor cost and the metal, pretty much. I mean, I'm making more and more every day. So he was like, oh, okay. anyways, so we banded together. Basically, it was me and him, and then other people. Basically, I mean, it was basically a family operation. All of us, I mean, me and them, and we were building, building a future pretty much. And he was pretty happy with it and everything else like that because I loaned him the metal. I forget where I got the metal from. I think one of my mines or something like that. I had extra metal, and he was like, and he didn't let me down. He built all this stuff and did all this stuff. He did his part. So, and it was really the Renault team. He was a team leader, and there was a lot of other people too. There was also some other smaller car manufacturers, and they weren't making it. And I was like, and I think I bought them out for full price or something like that. We had so much money. We were selling so well that we were just like, and these those people had families, or they had, so we were like, well, why don't you come work for us? So we kind of, so there was negotiations, and pretty much, and the Renault team did that, and so basically a lot of people came to work for the Renault factory, and basically it became one company, one town. And they did really well. I mean, we did really well. I mean, huge factory, and we're building all kinds of stuff pretty soon, and really did an amazing job. Anyway, I hope I did well with them. I don't really know. I mean, I'm in this little shitty house, so maybe I lost my fortune. No, I don't really know. I don't really care anymore. Like I say, 2 world wars, a couple psychopaths that were basically like thinking that they owned everything or something like that, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think I did pretty well. I have my own country, America, so and somewhere around there, with the Renault factory, I think, I don't know, things got bad or something like that. It was always better around there, but it's kind of complicated with the Renault factory. I think I did pretty good because they call it this place America, and there's Russia, and there's La Vitalia, and a couple of other ones. I mean, all my town, I seem to just do really well because the cars meant we went further. We're basically like the king, like the tribe. And same thing basically when you're a tribe or a team. You're working together, men and women. Relationships, lives. It gets all complicated. So, I mean, I'm the original Lucifer. So, and person who pretty much protected my team, and we worked together really hard, and and then there was a war and everything else, and a couple of other psychopaths where I was like, no, you're not going to do this, and you're not going to hurt these people, and you're not going to kill these people, and I'm not going to back down. So anyway, and I didn't. I never would, law and order and all that, and protecting people. I didn't hurt anyone for a very long time. I didn't let anyone get hurt. Fair and equal judgment, all that other stuff. So, anyway, it wasn't until I came over to America that things started getting a little dicey. In Europe, everything worked out great, and I love Europe. I love Germany. I had to take over America in order to make it stop. Like I say, Nixon and a few of the others were psychopaths, like absolute crazy psychopaths. Something had to be done about them. So, and I just happened to be that guy that could do it.